Greetings friends, it's Victor here and welcome back to another video. If you're anything like me, maybe you have some difficulty sometimes when it comes to tying a long necktie and getting it the correct length due to a short torso. I have a short torso, and so I sometimes have difficulty getting my tie length correct. So if that is you, then this video is for you. But before we get into tying tips and tricks, please do go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. All right, let's get into the video. You have three basic kinds of knots that most people generally know how to tie when it comes to long neckties. These are the 4-in-hand knot, the half windsor, and the full windsor. Now these three different knots use a different amount of material and so can end up making your tie different lengths, even if you're using the exact same tie and your torso and neck are staying exactly the same length and circumference. I have a standard length tie here. There is no technical standard length of tie, but this one is not particularly long or short. Now note that every tie is different. For some reason, why they don't standardize sizes, at least in some way, is beyond me, but ties tend to be unique lengths and widths, and so really you kind of have to figure out what is going to work with your body shape, circumference, length with any given tie. The three knots I mentioned earlier are the 4-in-hand knot, which uses the least amount of tie material and is therefore going to make your tie end up being the longest out of the three. The half windsor, which is between the full windsor and the 4-in-hand knot, and the full windsor, which is using the most tie material to make the knot, which is going to, in the end, make your tie the shortest out of the three. Now let's for a moment assume that you are using the full windsor knot, but the tie is still too long. You just have too much material. It's like, you know, down here where like that no one wants a tie ending in their crotch, okay? So what do we do then? Here I'm going to demonstrate how you can basically finagle your knot into using more material so that you can end up shortening the overall length of your tie. Okay, so here I have the long blade of the tie and here I have the short blade of the tie. I like to have the long blade in my right hand and the short in my left. Now for me personally, with this specific tie, I know that I can use a full windsor knot and get the appropriate length of tie. But for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead and scooch this up so there's less over here so that we can see that this length of the tie is very, very long. Okay, so now to tie the knot. Let me get a little bit closer. Okay, so we're just focusing on this right here, okay? This is the actual tying part. So we're going to cross first. This is the fat one. This is the long one in my right hand, okay? So the fat one goes over the skinny one, okay? And it's going to come up from the middle. So this is as though you're tying your shoes, okay? That's all that is. It looks like that, right? As though you're tying your shoes, but we're gonna kind of pull it down so that the skinny little one is going down like this. Now, in a full windsor, ordinarily, you would wrap this around this. So it would be something like this, okay? So we would like kind of wrap this around there. But undoing that, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to wrap my fat blade around this one instead, okay? So that is basically having it take an extra lap around, okay? So it's using more of the tie material. Okay, so now this is pretty chunky, okay? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wrap the tie around this one. And that's kind of true to the full windsor knot. That's what you would do ordinarily. And at this point, you can try finishing out the knot, see if it's the correct length. If it's not, and you need your tie to still be shorter, I would go around this again, okay? So I'm just going to wrap it like this again. So now you can see that this is a pretty chunky, thick base of the knot, and I've used up a lot of my tie material. So this now is much, much shorter than it would have otherwise been had I only done one lap around here and one lap around here, which is how the true full windsor knot goes. Okay, so now I'm just going to finish out the windsor knot, and I'm going to bring it around front like this, and then the front is going to go up through the middle here, like so. And I always like to pull it from the top here while squeezing the knot to kind of get a nice, tight, clean knot there, like that. And at this point, I'm going to pull it up. And now I'm going to length check. Okay, so if I step back, so you can see this is still a little bit long. In my case, I kept this very, very short. So ordinarily when I tie with this tie, I put a little bit more length in this, and I only do, so total there I did 4 wraps around. So I did 2 on this side and I did 2 on this side. Ordinarily for this specific tie on me, I do 3. If you need to do more, like if this skinny part is all the way down here already and your tie is still too long, you can go ahead and keep doing wraps around this side, and just alternate as needed, or don't alternate. Do all on one side and then do all of them on the other side and then come around to use up the length in the tie. So now if I were to tie this tie for real, I would probably give myself a little bit more length here, but not too much. And here, I'll come up close so you can see. So for me, I'm going to do 1 wrap around. So I'm counting that as my first loop around this one. And then for this tie, I do 3 total. So that's 1, and then 2 is going to be around the same side over here. And then 3 is going to be my regular full Windsor one on this side. All right, and then, I may need to do another one, but we're gonna check and see. So if I finish the knot off like this, before actually pulling it down, I can see, okay, that seems more or less like the right length. So now I'm going to finish it off by putting it in. If it wasn't the right length, I would have undone this front wrap and just gone around this side again. All right, so now I'm pinching my knot, pulling it up, cinching it, making it nice and tight, clean looking, pulling it down like so. All right. And then I'll put it through the back tassel. And here we have a tie that is the appropriate length. So it is not like hanging down in my crotch, it is like roughly ending right around the belt, which is what we want to see. So I hope that if you have issues with ties generally being too long due to having a short torso or a skinny neck like me, hopefully this was helpful. Please let me know. If you want to see other tips and tricks for clothing like this, please let me know. All right, with that, I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you next time.